everyone, I hope you're having a lovely evening. I wanted to take some time today to talk about the things that I've been loving in January. So please grab a warm drink. I have someone coming here to get settled with me, and let's get started. Okay, so I have my list of lovely bits in my journal here, and I'll just be going through them kind of section by section. So to start off, a show that I've been really enjoying in January has been Smallville. It just got added on Netflix, but I remember watching this growing up, and it's honestly just such a perfect time capsule of like the late 90s, early 2000s, everything from the music to the styling, like the clothes styling, etc., is so of that era. I do believe it was like the first CW superhero show, and if you were into like Green Arrow and The Flash and things like that, which I was into growing up, it's just like a really nice precursor to all of those shows. It is very camp. I think that the premise of the show was, what the writers initially tried to pitch was Superman without tights and flights. So it's really him just like figuring out his powers. It's a very like mystery of the week type situation, especially in the first couple seasons. I'm only halfway through season 3 because that was, those were the days of real television when people were knocking out 24 episodes a season. So it is quite a watch. But if you're looking for something like light and fun and not too heavy, and you're also looking forward to honestly some of the most lethal face cards I have seen on TV still to this day, please watch this show. The acting is there's a little bit of a gap between the younger actors and the older, more experienced actors, especially in the first season, but they really come into their own stride after that. And I just really appreciate how seriously they took superhero movies. I feel like when Marvel movies started coming out, like 2008, etc., and then obviously you had like The Dark Knight, etc., people realized that superheroes and using superheroes as a vehicle of storytelling, you didn't have to sacrifice the fun aspect or the believability of telling a really good story just because someone was dressed up in like a full head-to-toe bodysuit and some things like that. They're really stories about how people can have powers, but you still have to navigate the world in a certain way, and I think that was really interesting. So I really like the show. It's great. It's on Netflix. Go ahead. My next favorite of the month is a book. So I just finished Midnight Hour by, let me look at my notes here, Eve Chase. I don't have a physical copy of it right now because I did have to return it to the library. I have a library card and I do try to borrow as many books as I can. This was a very long story, but I used to read a lot growing up, and thank you to my parents for encouraging my reading habit. But I also had like a really great library at both of the schools I attended growing up. And then when I got to university and then, started my big girl job, I wasn't really reading as much and I was watching a lot more TV. The last few years, I realized that one of the reasons I wasn't reading as much was books are so expensive, especially here in Canada. So it was a really easy way for me to get back into reading if I took out that friction. Now, theme of the last video, taking out friction. So when I actually just started going to the library and like picking out books, and I could just take them home with me and then return them, and I didn't have to commit to, spending $30 and then making sure that it was a book I really liked, I just got back to reading. Anyway, TLDR. The book that I have been enjoying is The Midnight Hour by Eve Chase. It's really, really beautiful. I did only get through 2 books in January, which is like not the goal. My average is usually 4 books a month. I am a really fast reader, but January especially, I just, there's really no excuse for it. There's time in like my evening routine baked in for reading. I don't know, I just wasn't reading that much. So that's definitely something that I need to lock in for the rest of the year. But this book was really, really great. Highly recommend it. It's a standalone, so there's, to my knowledge, as of this point in time, there's no like prequels, sequels, whatever. Just a standalone, nice little novel. There's 2 timelines, and it's about this. I'm gonna talk about it without spoiling it because I really do think it's worth a read. But it's about this young girl who kind of loses her mother, and she has to take care of her younger sibling, and then they run into someone, a boy who's of the same age, and they're involved in a mystery together. And then throughout the book, you're kind of unraveling what exactly happened. And then at the same time, there's another timeline about 20 years into the future where another mystery has been revealed. And you're trying to piece together what has happened throughout the entire book. I like a good mystery where the author doesn't like hold your hand and like guide you to what the answer is, but there's enough clues that it gives you a fair shot of being able to solve it yourself. And I was really pleasantly surprised because there was a twist that I did not expect at all. So it was awesome. I really liked the characters. Sometimes their motivation seemed a little bit wishy-washy, but at the end of the day, it's a book. And also, humans are unpredictable. So you can't really say, oh, a human person would have done that, because people will do whatever. But overall, I really liked the writing style. It was really descriptive and beautiful. The imagery was really vivid. I like the characters, I like the stories, I like the overall pacing, etc. I think I will give more Eve Chase novels a try. But first, a little bit of a spoiler for next month. I am trying to read more. I am about to butcher her name, so I'm so sorry. Ursula K.L. Guin. She wrote like the Wizard of Earthsea novels. If it was turned into a Studio Ghibli movie, if you've ever seen it. And I want to read those novels because she's really like a pioneer in both the fantasy and science fiction realms. She's also like a female author. I'm trying to read, like, I think every single book that I've read this year has had a female author, so I'm already on it. But that's like something that I want to get into, so that's going to be my focus for next month. And hopefully I find a book in the series that I really, really like. And if I don't, well, I will tell you about it anyways. My next favorite is a makeup bit. So I have really, really been enjoying the Danessa Myricks blush. This shade, it's called a blurring balm powder. So just a little bit of backstory on the technology. What she has really started with, what she's been working on, and she puts more of these products out every single year. These are like the really famous ones from her brand, but she has something called the blurring balm powder. And what this is it's not your typical cream to powder. No. This thing is literal magic. I believe she started out with a complexion, so it was a primer first, and then she moved into like adding coverage. So it's almost like a skin tint where it masks your skin and like really blurs out both discoloration and any sort of surface texture, but it layers like an absolute dream. I have tried on the complexion version of this, so the one that's actually supposed to like fit your skin tone, in store. I didn't buy it at the time because I wasn't really looking for a complexion product, and I am trying to project pan my makeup. But this was a Christmas present that I did ask for. It is the most gorgeous blush. It is what I've kind of layered on today. But if you know like color theory, red shows up more of a pinky, like a dark pink shade on olive or neutral deep skin tones, which is kind of what I am. I think I'm more of a medium skin tone, but it just gives you the most like perfect natural looking skin flush, and you can absolutely build it up. But I just love the way it looks. I have used this for underpainting, so you put on like more than you normally would and then put your normal complexion products on top of it. I have layered with this. I've put this on top of makeup. What can't she do, really? I just love this. Also, the amount of product you get in this is phenomenal. I don't think I will finish this for a while. It is going to be part of my kit for a very long time. So if you are like looking for a new blush, etc., I would honestly highly recommend this. They're so versatile. She's got so many gorgeous shades. She's obviously very brown skin friendly because she herself is a woman of color. She's Black. And even though she is American, I am trying to support more like Canadian products because she's a woman of color. I want to support her, and I think she's doing great things in the makeup space, both technology and inclusivity wise. So yes, I would highly recommend this. I think it is really like a hero. Okay, now I have a few body care, hair care bits and bobs. So to start out with, I did recently pick up 2 new products from Lush. One of them is the Super Milk Protein Shampoo, and the other one is the Power Hair Conditioner. I didn't grow up with Lush. When I first moved to Canada, I like picked up some of their hair products, the bars. At the time, my hair was going through a really strange transition. The older, I used to have like pin straight hair, pin straight, if you can believe it. And then the older I got, the more curly it got. And I was like figuring out my texture at the time and things like that. And at the time, Lush was more like into the whole, it was like face masks and like bars, okay? I'm old. Anyway, now obviously they've got all these lovely concoctions out. So I really like the brand. I do have like a little bit of a sensitivity to smell. So every time I walk past their store in the mall, I'm like, picture me on my hands and knees. Like it's a really strong scent. I do get migraines, but on their own individually, the products smell so phenomenal, and they don't give me a headache, and I'm sensitive. So like if you're worried about the scent, and it does stay for a long time, but it's not very overpowering, and it makes your like showering routine like so luxurious because they smell really, really good. But also it's obviously not just about how things smell, it's about how they perform. And I'm happy to report that I really, really like the results of both of these. So going over the protein shampoo, this smells like a lemon sponge cake. I first wanted to pick this up because I saw a lot of reviews online talking about how it had like a vanilla scent or like a milk scent. And I love ice cream. I love vanilla. Girl, it does not smell like that. I know that different scents pull different people, absolutely. And I have some perfumes here that are absolutely going to be the epitome of that. But the bottle smells super lemony. And when it actually, when I actually put it on my hair and rinse it out, etc., it just smells like lemon. But a lemon cake, it's definitely not like an astringent lemon, it's a sweet lemon. So I love this stuff. I also oil my hair before I shower, so I have not experienced any like hair loss with this because it is a protein shampoo. If you are using other bonding treatments, please be careful because you can have excess shedding, etc. as a result. So just a disclaimer over there. But this is like, it's not a stripping shampoo, but it's a clarifying shampoo. So it will get your hair really nice and clean, and it preps it really well for you to put a conditioner in it. Now, the reason I mention that is I have found that if a shampoo doesn't give you a good enough clean, your hair will be really, really weighed down. And I do wash my hair like 3 times a week. That's just what works to keep my curls in like their best definition, minimize frizz, and also keep like my scalp as oil-free as possible. I tried to hair train. Girl, it doesn't work. If you have to use dry shampoo 3 times a week, you have not trained your hair. Just watch it. It's fine. It's also better for your scalp in the long term. My hair loss, not that I had a lot of hair loss. There was a period of time when I was on Accutane and my hair loss was really bad then, but like I have been off that for a couple of years now. But my hair loss has significantly reduced after I've been washing my hair 3 times a week. I also detangle in the shower, which is where this conditioner comes in. This is, as I said, the Power Conditioner. This is formulated for curls and it smells phenomenal. It's like this spicy, warm, earthy smell. This doesn't smell good to eat. It just smells good, period. So I would also recommend this. But anyway, TLDR, cleans your hair well, softens, conditions, detangles, whatever you want to do. This hair product will do it for you. You want to use a dime-sized amount for okay, let me give you a number that will work. I use a dime-sized amount for a quarter of my hair. I do have really long, thick hair. So I think that will give you a good idea of how much conditioner you need to be using, but this gets the job done. It like minimizes frizz. My hair is super soft and like workable. It's super easy to detangle in the shower. I love this stuff. I don't get any like excess hair shedding. It doesn't irritate my skin. And yeah, it's just like both of these are really, really good. But for the majority of the people, your hair concerns will mostly be due to 3 factors, unfortunately, actually 4. Genetics, your environment. Your environment includes water quality, which is a big one. And yes, your diet. If you're eating like really nutritionally dense things, high protein, your like that will factor into your hair much more than what you're actually using on your hair. But that was all leading somewhere. The tangent that I was going to is I'm a science girly. You know, I've used Pantene. I use Pantene currently as a part of my routine, etc. It's been in there for years. What I will always admire about Lush is they can give you amazing results with really natural or naturally derived ingredients. If that's something that's important to you, that's not something you will have to compromise on if you are using their products. And the greenwashing has gotten a lot better recently. So yes, these 2. My next body care favorite has been something that I recently started doing. If you didn't know, it is like literally colder than hell right now in Canada. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it was literally feels like minus 28 degrees Celsius a few days ago. So not great. Now, I do drive a lot and I'm not really like outside as much, but just because the general air is like super dry now, I have really dry skin on my body. And what I have noticed is I just get a lot more scaly, for lack of a better term. And I like hot showers. I need to like feel like I'm boiling alive if I'm going to feel satisfied after a shower. So the compromise that I have found to make sure that my skin feels really good and well cared for is a little skincare sandwich. So what I have been doing is layering these 3 products. So the first one is a glycolic acid. This one's just by The Ordinary. You can honestly get any one that you want. This one is 7%. So if your skin's like super sensitive, get something that's like lower. You can also use something that's more gentle in the first place, like mandelic acid, and work your way up. And then I use this Eucerin Complete Repair Moisturizing Lotion. What's really great about this is it has 5% urea and ceramides. So it's super moisturizing. And sandwiching the glycolic acid, this, and then just like regular baby oil. You can use any oil. I have used sweet almond oil before. A big advantage of the baby oil is it absorbs really quickly into the skin. But if you're like very sensitive to mineral oil, like maybe it makes you break out on your body, etc., switch like sweet almond oil. It doesn't really have a scent, but it will still give you that really moisturized finished. My other body care favorite this month has been these new perfumes that I'm trying out from Paraphrase Perfumes. They're a Canadian brand, and I believe they manufacture their perfumes in Canada as well. You know, a big theme of this year is continuing to buy Canadian. And I am in the market for a new perfume. So as a little like pre-birthday present, I did get these testers from them. I will stress this to the high heavens. If you can avoid it, please do not blind buy perfumes. Blind buying is when you like go online, you look at the notes, you're like, that sounds good. Or I have a perfume that's similar to this, I know I'll like it, and then you buy it. There's always the chance that it does not work with your body chemistry. Even if 90% of the notes are similar to a perfume that you like and love, it could be something to do with the composition. It could be a carrier that they've used that they're not going to talk about in the notes section. It could be one note in like, you know, out of 9 notes, 8 are great, 1, it doesn't work with your body chemistry. And then you have a often very expensive perfumes. These are not cheap. And these are a good like price. Paraphrase perfumes, in my opinion, prices very fairly, but in general, perfumes can be really expensive. So do not blind buy. Get the tester. okay? Always. Go to the mall. Sometimes there are even like specialty perfume boutiques. There used to be a really cool one in Toronto and they just shut down, RIP, but do not blind buy. If you can, like, email people for testers, things like that, it's a much safer option of getting that perfume in. Because the other thing that I have noticed with perfumes, and it's absolutely part of this review, I love all three of the scents I have gotten. They absolutely do change throughout the day. So going no in no particular order, one of the perfumes I got, I don't know why I'm showing it to you. The writing is so small, you can't read this, but of the three perfumes that I got, one of them is called Fruit Thieves. So this scent is very like passion fruit and also grassy. When I first spray it, it honestly just smells like passion fruit, but not like a rich passion fruit scent. It just smells like, okay, this is like fake passion fruit. But the dry down and the way it lasts on my skin, that richness and the grassiness really start to build up. And then it also smells really sweet on my skin. So after a period of time, that's when I really, really like this scent. So Fruit Thieves, really, really fun, really good. I will continue to wear this until I'm done with it. My next one is Gilded. This honestly gives, this is like a really nice scent. The two most prominent notes to me in this are the ginger and cardamom. This really smells like I'm wearing a cup of chai, but there's no tea note in it. So it's really just like, you know, like a chai latte, I guess, where you have the spices, but it's not really a chai, like chai spice. Let's put it that way. It's really, really lovely in the bottle. On me, it smells really, really good too. I have noticed that there is a note in this that makes it a little bit more almost musky. It's not, and it stops being sweet. I love a sweet perfume. They smell really good on me. I like the smell too, so that's my preference, but this definitely turns like very complex and like almost woody. That's what it is after a period of time. So if that's your flavor, like, please try Gilded. I think it's great. And the opposite theme to Fruit Thieves, this is something that I love the initial smell of when I put it on, and later I'm like, yeah, this is like fine, but it's a little bit more woody, a little bit more masculine than I am a fan of. I like feminine scents. I like to smell like a girly pop. So it's not really my cup of tea. I think that if you're looking for something that's like a really good in between of like a really feminine and also more like a unisex scent, let's put it that way, I think Gilded would be a really, really great choice. Now, the absolute standout of all of these perfumes that I honestly was not expecting at all. So my partner was the one who actually bought this tester set for me, and the three scents that I picked were Fruit Thieves, Gilded, and then a third one called Troubled Spirits. That one's very like boozy. I did try that on, but it wasn't for me. He ended up taking it because it smelled great on him. And then he picked this one for me. Now, this one's called Fin de Sicile. I assume that is French. Sorry for my French. But this is gorgeous. I did not want to pick this up because it was rose. I think it had rose and patchouli. I love rose. I love like fresh roses. I love rose candles, etc. Rose perfumes for me, sometimes they give like auntie. They give a little bit grandma, you know, like my granny, she smells like roses. She smells incredible, but she's my granny, you know, like, so even though she smells fantastic, that is the association that I have with roses. But this, no, she's not your average rose perfume. This is cool girl perfume. I don't even know how to describe it. And the patchouli, like all it does is like elevate it and give a little bit more of a scent. The initial scent of this, the initial scent is like this rich, it's like a bouquet of roses. It's incredibly multidimensional. It's also slightly sweet and like it gives an incense vibe. So I think that's where the patchouli is coming in. And then the dry down is like incredibly fresh. It smells like someone is holding a bouquet of roses, fresh roses, next to your head the entire day. It is phenomenal. Yeah, it doesn't smell cheap. It smells like incredibly complex. I think it's great. I am probably going to invest in a full-size bottle of this stuff when I am almost done with these testers, but I am working my way through these. But I think I've honestly found my favorite. I like the first initial scent. I love the dry down. The sillage of all three of these has been phenomenal as well. I will really, really recommend them because they last on me all day, and the level to which they last is perfect. They're not overpowering, but they really they just smell fresh and like lovely the entire day. So if you're in the market for a new perfume, buy the tester kit. Do not blind buy. But I would recommend Paraphrase. So yeah, those were all of my January favorites. I am really looking forward to next month. February is my birthday month. I'm turning 27. But yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I'm like clutching onto these samples, oh my God. But have a great week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Say bye. Cute.